Hey guys, this video is about Pandas Python library. This is an open source library and it is used to manipulate, clean, and explore data sets. So, like data files such as Excel, CSV, JSON, and so on. So, let's get started. First, you need to install the Jupyter Notebook. It's much easier and convenient to use. So, you can type the following command. And so I've already installed it, so it says satisfied. If you do it, it'll be installed. And after you're done with that, just type Jupyter Notebook. This will open up the Jupyter Notebook, and you can click on New File and open the new file. So use pip install pandas to install the file. I've already done it. So once you're done, just import it. Import the pandas. So now, like a data frame. So data frame is like a data structure. Let's say you try to load an Excel file. So if you look at the Excel file, you'll find that it'll be mostly in the format. It will be in the format of rows and columns, right? So it has a sort of a structure. So similarly, when you load data within the pandas, it'll be a data frame format. So this is the file that we are going to be using. So this is a real estate data set and it's about close to 700,000 data points are there within this data set. So we have different columns as well. So we can also create a data frame using this particular syntax. So this method helps you to create a data frame. So the pd.data frame, and you'll have to pass the data. So right now we don't have the data. So let's just create a data. One way of creating data is by, let's say you have a simple data, you can use dictionaries and list to create. So this is one of the dictionary. If you look at it, this is the data what we are going to use. So and see we have three different columns that we are going to pass: name, age, and city, and each column has three values, as you can see. So this will be our data, and if we pass this data here, sorry, and our data frame will be created. So this is the data frame that's created. Right now we haven't assigned it to any variable, it's just there. So let's say you want to load Excel file like what we have. So what we can use is pf dot read csv. So if it's a CSV file, we use read CSV. If it's a Excel file, then we use Excel. So right now we're going to use this, and let's just copy the path. So you copy the path and you paste it here. So we'll assign it to a variable df. That's pretty much the standard that's used, but you can name it anything you want. So right now we have successfully loaded data set. You can see we have these many columns. So how do we know the columns is by using this method or function. So df.columns gives you, by the way, df is something that we have assigned the data frame, a data set to. So df becomes our data frame. So df.columns gives us all the columns within a data set. And we can also use df.add to see the different rows within the data set. So by default it's 4. Let's say you want to view the first 10 columns, first 10 rows, and use df.dead and 10. So gives you the first 10 rows. And similarly you have tail. By default it shows you the last 5 rows, you can see here. And if you can also view the last 20 by just passing the integer value, like the number of rows that you want to view. So you can see all this. And then you have df.data types to check what are the different columns and what is their data type. And further moving on, to view the statistical information, we can use df.describe here. So this helps you to see the different statistical variation, or you can see the mean, you can see the standard deviation, the minimum, the maximum, the 25th percentile, 50th percentile, 75th percentile. So when you observe here, it only takes into the numerical values, the columns with the numerical values, whereas the categorical columns are ignored at this point. So moving on, yeah, let's say you want to access only this column. And so how it works is you call it, and within the bracket you mention the name of the column, and you will be able to access that particular column. And let's say you want to filter out, you want to get the data. Now, when I say data, it means the whole row. Let's say you want to get the rows where the price value is more than certain value. Let's take an example of 950,000 as an example. You want the you want the data points of all the rows which has a price more than 950,000. So what you do is price more than, so 950,000. So like, okay, before we get into that, let's just see what happens. We just get true or false, right? We're not getting all the rows, or we're not getting the complete information like the status, bed, bath, and city, state. So in order to get that, you have to pass this within a bracket and call the df. So this is gonna be like df of this particular condition. So this will return us the rows where uh, the price has a value more than 950,000. You can see there are about close to 100,000 data points within the data frame or the data. So let's say one more, what you want to do is you want to sort the overall data by the state alphabetically. So how you do that is df dot sort by sort values, and by what parameter you want to sort it by state. So we can pass this parameter state the column name, and we can keep it ascending to be true. So we will get this in an ascending order. You can see that the state names are sorted by the values of the alphabetical order. If you want it descending, you can keep this as false, and you will get from Z to A. Start from, like whatever is the closest to Z to, and move towards the A. So this is what happens. Let's say you want to sort by state as well as city. So first state A, and again A to Z in the city, then B, then A to Z within the city with particular or respect to the particular state. How do you do that is by sorting it by both the parameter or both the column name that you want to have the overall data points to be sorted, and you have to pass it within a bracket. So we'll keep this true. So now you will see like the state is C, then it starts with A to Z, and then again it'll go on. Let's yeah, so it works that way. So moving on, let's say you want to create a new column, and you want the value to be the price divided by house size. How do you do that? So first thing is you will create a new column, and how do you do that is by, you'll have to, so whenever you are naming a column, when you're creating a new column, let's say you provide a name to that column which doesn't exist within the data frame. So that is going to be added as a new column, and you can pass whatever value, and you can assign it to that particular column. Let me show you what I mean by that. So you can see that there is no particular column with this particular name. So this is going to be created as a new column here, and you can also perform some sort of so you want the price to be divided by the house size. So what you can do is you can just do the mathematical operation, and whatever the values though returned by this particular mathematical operation will be assigned to this new column that is going to be created. So let's look into that. So yeah, you can see that the new column is created, price by house size. Let's say now you decided you don't want this, you want to delete it. What you're going to do is df dot drop, and you're going to like assign the parameter or assign the column name. So the column name is this, so it's here, and you just enter. So you can see it's gone here, and now but again when you click, it's again back. Why is that? Because it's not getting permanently deleted in this case. Let's say again you want to delete two columns. So you want to delete, let's say I want to delete not just two, maybe three, four, whatever. I want to delete the n as well as the status. So what I'll do, I'll just pass this again, and again the status as well, I'll add on. And this should be within a brackets. So we can see that the multiple columns that we wanted to delete is gone. But when we pass it here, we can see everything is here. So what is happening is it's only temporarily deleting those columns that we are passing on. To make this a permanent, uh, case, we'll have to use this parameter in place equals true. So now when you do it, you will see that in the actual df, the data frame, it's actually deleted. Now it's permanently deleted. So this is our data frame right now. And it's permanently gone. These columns, what we wanted to delete. When we use this in place, not just for deleting column, it could be for any condition. If we're using this in place equals true, it's going to be affecting the data frame permanently. So yeah, the next one is how, let's say I want to check um I want to check a particular position of a value of a particular position. Let's say I want to get this. So you can see it is in city, and yeah, it is in this particular, you know, row you can say. So how do I access it? So I'm gonna use, you can use either lock or ilock, and then you can use the city, the column name, and the row. Okay, what exactly is the issue? One second. I think we'll have to. Yeah, so we got this value. So that's how you'll be able to access, and you can also get this by using iLock as well. Let's say you want a range. Let's say I want a range of values. I want 2 to 10 within the city. So you get these range as well. So these are used for manipulation. It's a great way. Now let's say you want to get two different columns. You just this we have learned we can call out one column by just passing on. What if we want two? We can still do this by passing on the column that we want, the multiple columns that we want to call out. So, and again, you have to mention it within a bracket, and you'll get, yeah, I'll be able to retrieve both the column that you have passed on. And one more thing is we have seen that we were able to access, we were able to retrieve based on one parameter, one condition. You can see this is one condition. The condition what we are passing on is we want data points of where the price is more than 950,000. What if we want as well as this the price to be more than 950,000 also only in the New York? How are we going to do that? So what we can do is we can, okay, let me start from scratch. So we can call price greater than 950,000 and df of city equals, so we want New York, right? Let's just copy that, New York, and we have to pass this again within a bracket, and also we'll have to use curve bracket. What exactly is the issue? Okay, each, I'm sorry, yeah, each thing has to be in an individual. So we need a bracket here. So yeah, this has to be in one particular DF. Yeah, so this has to be within one, and this has to be within one. Yeah. So we have got, we were be able to filter based on both the conditions. The first condition being the price more than 950,000. No, 90. Okay. Yeah. So we will be able to, like, 950,000, and also the second parameter being the city has to be New York only. So we'll be able to get only New York and where the data points have value of price more than 950,000. So that is one. And let's check with null values. So you're going to get a data frame where you're not going to always have all the values you know entered properly. Sometimes when they're collecting the data, you're going to get a lot of null values, or it's called nan. So like you're going to not have certain, you'll find missing values within the data set. So we can see that when we use a df.snl.sum, so it's going to sum up. Here we're going to get a boolean of true or false. When we use the sum, we'll be able to see, like, how many missing values do we have within the data set. So how do we fix this? So for bed, we can use probably the mean. It's called a imputation technique. I think for now, mean is something that let's, work on with. So how do we do that? To get mean, df of bed, we want to fill the bed, right? So we have something called fill na. So we can use the fill na to, fill the missing values. So what do we want to fill? We want to fill the mean value of the bed. So we'll take the bed dot mean. So this is again a method, and now we can. So now we have this particular method which we have, entered. But let's say we have to assign it to the column, right? Right now it's not added within the data frame. So let's add it within to the data frame. df of bed equals. So now this df of bed column is going to be, like wherever there is a missing value, it's going to be added. So whatever missing values within the bed is going to be added within the actual data frame. So now if we again check the same df is null, you can see that there are no missing values in the bed. Earlier we had two missing values, now those two missing values have been replaced with the mean values of the bed. And for city, let's just say this other way is like you want to drop. So how can you drop? So there is another way of there's another method called drop NA. So this helps you to drop the values, wherever there is. This will help you to delete the row itself wherever whichever column has a null value or a non value. So in this case, yeah, it's gonna be city, but yeah, it did not we don't have to target the particular column where it's null. So any column that has a null value, the whole row of that particular value will be deleted throughout all the columns. So now we have done this, but again, when we try to look at it, we still find that it is not working, right? So the reason is because we haven't, like permanently deleted it. Only if we are going to assign in place is equals to true, that is going to permanently affect the data frame, or else we are not going to see the changes. So right now we have passed the in place equals true, and now you can see that the city has zero null values, which means it has, the changes has been, directly made on the data frame permanently. So let's say you want to add, let's say you want to merge two data frames. There'll be scenarios where you have probably 10 Excel files or 30 Excel files where you have to merge. So how do we do that? Right now I'll be showing you an example of merging two, but the same thing happens with any number of merging any number of data frames or combining any number of data frames or data sets. So this is the same. I've used the same. Uh, I've used the same columns, and yeah. So we have. Okay, let's take off n. We don't need n as we have deleted it. And let's take off the sales as well status because we don't want that. Timestamp price. Yeah, so we have this. Now this will be data 2. Again, let's create a df2 equals pd dot data frame of what? Of data 2. This is the data. So you can see this again in the dictionary as I told in the very beginning. So this is the random values that I've added. So this will be our data frame 2. So you can call the data frame 2. Yeah, so we have this is another data frame. So now we have df2 and df, right? So we want to merge both. How do we do that? There is another function or method called concat. And so when we use a concat, what it does is it helps to merge two data frames or yeah, so let's do that. df1 comma df2. So we have to pass it within a brackets, and you'll find the last two. This the data frame df3 df2 has been added to df. I mean this is basically both concatenated. We can also assign this to a new data frame df3, and so when we call we'll be able to retrieve the combined data frame. So Yeah, and now let's deal with timestamp. So you have to understand when we look at data types, this is treated as an object, whereas in reality, this is date and time valuable, right? You can see that there's a date, month, and year, and this is a time. And so how do we do that? So we df3 off. So we have uh, okay. Let's so we need to convert this basically timestamp from just an object to a date time format data type. So how do we do that? So there is again a conversion method which is called to date time. So pd dot to date time, and we have to pass the column name. So what is the column name? Df of timestamp, right? So we'll be passing that here. So it's processing. So yeah, it's some time to process. So yeah, we got the timestamp back as a date time format. So let's let's replace it within the actual data frame. So we are taking this column which is timestamp, so df3 of timestamp, and we're converting and we are replacing it here. So this, so yeah, yeah. Right now, if you it is replaced first thing, so you can see it has changed from year, month, and date. And let's check with the d types. So if you go and have a look, you can see that the data type has changed from object, which was here, to date time. So yeah, now let's say you want to make new columns from this. You want year separate, month separate, date separate, and along with the time like hour and minute separate. So you can do that by assigning. Let's do that. I'll show you. So df. Yeah. So now let's say we have this timestamp in this particular date time format, and you want to extract the year, so you pass the particular column name, the df3 of timestamp dot dt dot year. So this will give you the year value, and we can assign it to a new column called year. The same thing we can do for month as well. So let's replace it by month, and again dd dot month will give you the month, and the same thing for day. So dd dot day will give you the date and hour as well. You can also go till seconds as well, but yeah, let's just keep it till minute. The same thing, dd dot second. So yeah, these are the new columns that'll be added. Dear. 3. So you can see the month, the year, the month, date, hour, minute has been added. So let's just do the second as well. Let's see. Yeah, fine. Even the second is added. Since what was zero, I thought of ignoring it. But anyway, just wanted to show you that. And now let's say, uh, yeah. So I think that is pretty much about the pandas. I think I've covered pretty much what is sufficient in order to start working and just explore. So let's say now you want to save it. First thing, I'll just import OS. OS is again an inbuilt. So I want to see where this is right now in CWD. This will get which folder we are in. I want to set this folder. So I'm gonna copy this folder here. What is the current directory? So yeah, the sets. And now I'm going to save this. So how I'm going to save this in this location. How do we do that? So df.3 to CSV. So we can save it in different formats. So we can save it as Excel file, a CSV, JSON, and so on. So I'll go with the CSV. So df3.2 CSV, and we can name it probably df3.csv. So it's important to mention the extension as well. So when we do that, your data frame is going to be saved as an Excel file. So you can see the df3 is created here. It's opening. Just a minute. Close this. So yeah, you can see that df3 Excel file is here with whatever the changes we made. So you can see all the data points with all the columns that we manipulated and made changes. So we have the timestamp, which is again given as year, month, date, hour, minute, second, so on. So that's how you basically work with pandas, and hope this tutorial or video was helpful to you guys in exploring and manipulating the data frame using the pandas library, which is the open source library for Python. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. So see you on the next tutorial. Yeah, bye bye.